The 2022 Toyota Aygo X debuts as a small car with big personality. The third-gen Aygo gets crossover style and some high-end features. Earlier this year, Toyota showed off the Aygo X Prologue concept, a high-riding hatchback that previewed an upcoming model that will be sold in Europe. Well, the Aygo X production car debuted Friday and is honestly even cuter than the concept. For this third-generation Aygo, Toyota is positioning a segment hatchback as an urban crossover, thus the X in its name, but really is just a tiny hatch with a shaft similar to the previous gen Aygo. The all-new diminutive Toyota model is even changing its personality by adopting the X surface to reflect its shift from a hatchback to a crossover. While it still fits into the old Continent's definition of an A-segment model, the Aygo X is considerably larger than its predecessor. At 3,700mm long, the not so tiny anymore city car is 235mm longer than the model it replaces, with 90mm of the stretch found in the wheelbase for greater legroom for passengers sitting in the back. Even though it's longer between the axles, people sitting in the rear still can't roll down the windows as the Aygo X continues to feature pop-out rear windows. It's also 125mm wider at 1,740mm and 65mm taller at 1,525mm than the model it replaces, bringing it in line with the lines of the Hyundai i10, Kia Picanto, and Fiat Panda. Following the growth spurt, the cargo capacity has increased by more than 60 liters to 231 liters if measured up to tonneau cover and to 269 liters up to the roof. Fold down the rear bench and the volume jumps to 829 liters up to the roof. It is so large now that Toyota sees fit to install 18-inch wheels finished in matte black with contrasting orange accents. The Aygo X rides on the GAB platform and continues to offer a retractable fabric roof to maintain the open-air vibe with the third-generation model. Despite the significant rump in size, it has a turning cycle of only 4.7 meters, thus making it ideal for the crowded urban jungle with its narrow and busy streets. To accentuate its newly gained crossover trails, the Aygo X has chunky black plastic molding on the wheel arches and offers an extra 11mm of ground clearance over the outgoing model. You also sit up to 55mm higher than before in a car that will be nearly as funky as the Prologue concept unveiled back in March. The cabin is almost as chic as the exterior, featuring vividly colored accents and a wacky dashboard hosting a 9-inch touchscreen. Even though it's Toyota entry-level offering in Europe, the Aygo X still gets ambient lighting and wireless charging, not to mention full LED headlights and even support for over-the-air updates. There's also a vast array of safety tech, including adaptive cruise control, night pedestrian detection, lane chase assist, and daytime cyclist detection, just to name the few. Toyota is keeping things extremely simple in terms of the engines, since there's just one, The Aygo X is powered by a naturally aspirated 1.0-liter gasoline mill with 72 horsepower at 6,000 revolutions per minute and 93 Nm of torque at 4,400 revolutions per minute. The 3-cylinder unit works with either a 5-speed manual gearbox or a continuously variable transmission. The do-it-yourself box enables the little crossover high-riding hatchback to reach 62 miles per hour from a standstill in a slow 15.6 seconds, while the CVT shape of the 10th of a second. The top speed is 98 miles per hour with the manual or a slightly lower 94 miles per hour for a CVT equipped model. Depending on the trim level and equipment, the Aygo X tips the scale at 940 to 1015 kilograms. Being a featherweight, it ships just 4.7 liters per 100 km and have a CO2 emissions of only 107 grams per kilometer. Thank you for watching video.